Right, rightio. I suppose I'll just turn it off as well. It's kind of interfering with things. Yeah, yeah. Right. Happy Monday, happy Monday. Gonna get started now in just a second. I'll turn on that as well. May as well. Okay. So my goal today, or tonight rather, is I want to get the tower sorted out. So I got leveled yesterday, or I think it was either the day before. No, the day before yesterday I got to level 20, or no less 20. And I've just spent the rest of the time just grinding stuff out. So I never came across an instance, to be honest, where the tower was actively queued on. I saw it the first couple of days, but I haven't seen it since. So I'm hoping to get it tonight. I'm starting to wonder if now that I don't know if it does a week reset. I'm not really sure. I still need to understand that. So I suppose we'll get started in that regard by making sure this microphone is actually picking everything up first of all. And oh, I had a guest. Yeah. Right. Now I want to check out. Yeah, I'm going to check out the tower. I'm going into the tower. Well, I'm wondering if it's depending on instance or actually does Party Finder actually support the tower? I doubt it, considering everything happens inside. Maybe field operations? No. I mean, that's the other, just the old one. Okay, so yeah, let me ask about the tower real quick. Yeah, Fort Tower. The Fort Towers are the greatest challenge to be found in the Occult Crescent. Make full use of your phantom jaws and work together with up to 48 total players to overcome powerful foes and tricky battle mechanics. So 48 players, I'm assuming that's from all the servers, because when you're in an instance there, it's a mix of all the different servers, of course. Only those with a knowledge level of 20 or greater may enter the Fort Tower, which I knew that, which is why I grinded it out. To do so, an ethereal node must be powered through the coordinated use of sanguine ciphers purchased from the Expedition Aquarian at the base camp. A minimum of 16 players must offer sanguine ciphers within a set time frame. I'm assuming 16 players in my instance, I'm going to assume. Those selected will receive the right of entry, the Fort Tower status effect, granting them clearance to enter the Fort Tower blood. A short time after the node is activated, the maximum of 48 players standing upon it will be teleported inside. Show more than 48 players board the node, players who invested a greater number of ciphers will have a higher chance of being selected for entry. Okay, so I assume that means that when it lights up, that it will register from all servers. I doubt data centers, possibly, I don't know. I don't really know exactly what this is. And if I have more submitted ciphers, then I should have an easier time. So I think I have 2 ciphers, to be honest. So I suppose first things first, we need to find an instance where, well, I'm assuming it pops on multiple instances at the same time. Or all of them, rather, in order to get this mechanic to actually pop properly. Alright, so there's a CE underway. I'm leveling Geomancer right now. I'm actually really liking Geomancer. I like its disability, which changes with the weather. So it's increasing HP recovered by healing and self nearby party members by 30% for 20 seconds. There's also a damage buff and there's also a heal as well. It's really nice. And the battle bell has been really good as well. I've been putting on the main tanks. And then this has been getting me out of trouble as well whenever I actually step on a landmine. So I'm assuming I have 2 ciphers already, right? I don't have enough. Oh, I have 3. Okay, never mind. So that should be enough for me to actually try and pop this thing. Assuming it's gonna pop. So let's see what the story is with. So it should be beyond this location. So it's nighttime at the moment. That's why I have or clouds and cloudy cars. So I need to keep leveling Geomancer. So I'll grind out some fates while I wait, because there's nothing else I really can do until that happens. I suppose a gold farm is also... Yeah, it's also on the card. So I was wondering what that person was writing. I can't really see the chat now. There we go. Alright, so the main thing should be at the middle. How's my research doing, actually, in terms of collection? The occult record. I have a fair amount, to be honest. I have my entire first page is filled out. Second page is getting there. And the third page is getting filled out as well. So I'm getting there. Gotten some stuff on the mobs and stuff like that. I was surprised this looks like a terminus to me. I think I said that on my last stream, that it looked like a terminus. I need to look into that. Oh, it's glowing. Okay, so I can realistically just jump in right now. I'll offer one just to start. So I'm assuming, from what it said, I offer a cipher, and I have to be actually standing on this in order for me to get queued. If that's correct, because I did enter one before. I think it was yesterday, actually. And how does my ability change? Oh, it didn't really. Oh, it did. Yeah, that's the damage buff while you're in there. So I'm assuming that's going to be what's going to happen when I'm inside the tower. But, yeah, I entered this before, but I never got picked. But I was outside grinding face, so I just entered it and ran away. So I'm assuming I have to be standing on it. Unless somebody tells me otherwise. I suppose I could ask in chat, but I think I'll just stand here and see what the story is. While we're doing that, I'm going to look at my record again. Right, so what does this thing say? I don't think I've read it. Having been summoned source from the void, this powerful fiend now resides near the abandoned ascent. Entering into pacts with such void ascent is an ancient practice that continues to this day, despite the inherent risks. Bound thus to their summoners, these creatures serve myriad roles, from instruments of brute force to bestowers of supernatural power and arcane weapons. One wonders what duties the cloister demons was assigned in exchange for the corporeal form and aether given vitality. I'm gonna assume the architect did it as a test, like he's done everything else as a frickin' test. Okay, let's the idols next. So that's one of the other fates. So I've been getting these things from the fates as well, which is why I've been grinding them out. Okay, so found in the depths of the crystallized cavern, this creature's fragile ceramic form bellies an enduring strength. Magical runes upon its torso allow it to summon minions and arcane artifacts in battle, making it a challenging, unpredictable foe. Details regarding the mythic idol's creation have always been shrouded in mystery. Records indicate that even the people of Scala, who often utilize such constructs, were unaware of its provenance. Given that Garabani has long been a hub of trade with the East, there is every likelihood that the underlying technology was developed in foreign lands and deliberately kept secret. It didn't look Far Eastern to me. However, it didn't say it. Don't forget, it didn't say East. It said, well, it didn't say Far East. It said East. So that means Ilsabart. So this could be from Corvos, theoretically. Something I'll probably have to look into. I can't do any of these things. I think I'm supposed to. Well, the person just entered his thing and he left. Or I think he entered his thing and left. Actually, let me look at the reliquary real quick. Yeah, there's 2 participants, myself included. But I'm just too paranoid about this thing not popping. So I'm just going to stand here and wait until this thing finishes. Got some reading to do anyway. Now, let's see. The Fell Warren. Deep within the caves running through the rugged mountains of the Occult Crescent lies a ruined ancient city. The prevalence of pointed arches and customization Scala, which once flourished in Garabania before the 6th Normal Calamity inundated the land. Oh, I think I read this one already. Yeah. And this is the thing I'm standing on now. So, what's interesting about this place, actually, I don't want to step outside it, is that its architecture is... There's 6 distinct types of architecture in this area. 5 of them belong to the city-states, including the new one we now know as Karnak. And then this one is a mystery. We don't exactly know what the architecture is of this place, but we're assuming that person just disappeared. Do you think we should offer more? Should I offer another one? I mean, they're not going to be too hard to get back, but I kind of want to farm for gear as well. I'm assuming it's supposed to choose me the moment I do this. Although, am I going to assume that 48 people are... Sad face. Okay. Lesson learned. I'm going to submit 2 next time. That sucks. Because that person disappeared. He must have offered 2 and just disappeared. Damn it. Okay. Lesson learned. I'm not going to make the haunted time. Okay, that sucks. How long am I going to have to wait? Should I just exit the instance and just... I think I'm going to exit the instance and try and... I'm assuming it popped over every instance. But I'm just going to exit the instance real quick and go back in. Just to see if there's another instance that would actually pop in. Unless I'm tied to the same instance, I don't know. Okay, so that's the weather for it. That's the weather for it. So maybe it's there. Well, I suppose we'll find out in a second, won't we? Is it glowing? It's glowing. Okay, good. So I got a different instance where it's glowing. So I'm going to offer 2. And see if this actually gets me in. So what happens if less than... I'm assuming it needs a minimum of 16 people for the tower to begin. With a maximum of 48. But what happens if you have less than 16 people participating? Do you just lose your cipher? I mean, that doesn't seem fair. Oh, I got my cipher back. Okay, good. Okay. I'm offering 2 ciphers. Okay, so that's good. I got my cipher back. I'm staying here. I'm not moving. Just in case. Back to the record. Let's see what we have here. Silent Streets, already read. Ancient Stonework, already read. Brazier. The Island's Architect. We don't know what the rest of these are. I'm assuming these are tied to fates and mobs. I'm assuming it's going to be mobs. So maybe I should grind out some mobs in order to get some of these informations. I mean, the ones that been... Actually, no. Mobs aren't giving information, are they? No, the fates are giving them. The CEs, rather, are giving them. Yeah, it's the CEs that are giving them, yeah. Okay. That's not going to help me. They're already doing the shark, and I already have the shark. Come on, pick me. Pick me. I want to enter the tower. Thing is, I don't see the tower. So they keep saying tower, but I don't see the tower. Unless that's the tower, I doubt it. Oh, wait. Is that the tower? Oh, okay. I didn't see that. Oh, I'm assuming it only shows up under this. Oh, that's right. Sorry. This quest, the storyline did say that the tower only shows up under a particular weather condition. So that's it, huh? Okay, let's have a look. That is bizarre. I assume I'll get a proper look at it once I queue in. But just from a preliminary look, it kind of brings back shades of the Tower of Babel. So in Garlemald, I mean, I can get shades of that, but it seems to be something pretty unique. I can't place it, to be honest. But it doesn't look like anything that's normally like man-made, if you get my meaning. It does look rather menacing. Like the creation of demonic forces or something like that. I mean, it is called the Forked Tower of Blood. I'm assuming it's called forked because it looks like a fork at the top. Come on, pop. Please pop. Come on. Come on. Like, this thing's not gonna pop. There's no point in me streaming. Like, the last part of this is I wanted to actually enter the tower because the tower has lore. I know it has lore. It's the last missing piece. What the hell is in there? Oh. I'm assuming that gave me my things back. So it's 6:10 right now, so we're just about prime time. We're entering prime time for FF14 in Europe. I'm jumping out again. I'm gonna see if I can get another one. What is the criteria? Nobody's queuing for these things. There was nobody else there. And it's gone. Yeah, I knew it. I knew it was gone. Alright. I suppose... Well, there's that. I suppose I'll do that while I wait. I suppose I'll ask as well. Yeah, I suppose maybe somebody on the chat will know. Oh yeah, we have a nice group. 4 tanks, 4 healers. I like that. Alright, so the only thing I can really do is do CEs until it pops again. Maybe I need to enter 3 this time. So if I fail, I fail. If I win, I win. I'm gonna... Right, the next one I'm gonna enter 3. Just in case, by some fluke, there was more than 48 people queuing. And I didn't get in. Like, I'm assuming it's pooling just from my data center. So Light will have one. Chaos will have one. But I'm just assuming. That's a big assumption. You practically need a pre-made due to how few even go attempting it. Do you know, I might need to ask in my social circles to see if there's any interest in doing a pre-made for the tower. Why are so few people queuing for it? Is it the fact that it requires silver? Is it putting people off? Because I saw a lot of people try to queue for it, and even then they couldn't get in. I don't know. I'll still try again, just to see. I mean, I don't even know how hard this content's going to be. I mean, if the previous content is any indication, like about Bessian Arsenal and the Delvon Regioning, they were both hard content, but they weren't accessible right off the bat. I would have assumed it was like... Oh, the Castrum from Foster? I assume it was like that. And you can just queue up with that for anybody. I did that 50 times. Because I had the title for it. I found the title for the Castrum. And I never even used the title. Here's main tank. But yeah, I'll queue back up for the next one. Or I think rather after this, I think I'll jump out again and see if I can get a server with it. What is up with that? Lagging out or something? Oh, please, I was safe. Way out of that. god. I didn't even see that tank until the end. It's weird. So, I'm finding this very strange. Like, the Bolster content, when it came to the castrum, everybody was making a beeline for it. In this content, there doesn't seem like barely anybody's going into the tower. Does that mean the tower's not offering anything that's worthwhile for people to go into? Is it not worth their time to do it? Is that why there's so few people actually doing it? So we'll try it again. After this, I'll change instances again. And then I'll try 3. I wonder if it's possible. Could I possibly transfer to Chaos? Or just visit Chaos, enter theirs, and see if it actually pops. Oh my god! Okay. Yeah, I was being stupid. I forgot it was 3 that time. Oh well. Right. I'm going to quickly jump out. Right. Leave. Come on. Oh, no, I don't want that. Actually, I should have checked the party finder before. No, weather. There's a lot of people in this one, although I assume they're all waiting for a CE to happen. That said, they could be waiting for the thing as well. You never know. Maybe I'll try and drum up some interest with the next one. Just say, towers up, let's rock and roll. You know what? I'll buy a 4th one. I'll put all 4 in, right? I've got a fair amount of admin now at the moment. So this is just from fate grinding and CEs. So I haven't been doing anything special. I didn't do anything outside, and I'm fairly there at the moment. So I just need these 3. So I just need 6 more. So not too bad for passive farming, really. I think I'm huffing copium by thinking these guys are gonna just jump in, to be honest. And the weather's not right either. I'm assuming maybe it's on the hour every hour. I don't know. Maybe I'll just jump instances again. I want to check actually before. So does the party finder, like, I know that one's listed there, but Let's see if field operations. Yeah, okay. So the field operations does list the South Horn. So, well, it is the South Horn. But I'm assuming you could just say going for tower. Might be something I could consider doing, to be honest. Or maybe I could jump to Chaos and see what they're doing. But for now, I think I'll just jump in. I'll try once more here. If it doesn't work, I'll jump to Chaos and see what the story is there. Chaos's party finder is not as advanced as ours. Or not as active, rather. Oh, the shark's coming up. Okay. I suppose I'll do the shark while I wait. I've never jumped this instances this many before. But yeah, I'll try it once more with 4. Not that I think my numbers are the problem, to be honest. I think it's just based on what everybody else is saying. Nobody's queuing for this, and I'm curious as to why. Are they all just caring about their glamours and stuff like that? Maybe it's... I think the only reason they wouldn't be queuing is that it doesn't offer anything for them. Okay. Tower has only been cleared once so far. Seriously? So is that hard? If it's only been cleared once in a week, that means it must be really hard. And by hard, I mean really, really hard. If it's taken a week for everybody. Is that why nobody's queuing for it? There's just no interest, as long as, like, I'm assuming people are waiting for getting gear similar to the gear I'm wearing with the Occult Crescent effects. I'm assuming they're waiting for that. Or maybe they're waiting for the bonuses that I get with Phantom Mastery. They say you need specific parties with specific builds with full gear and masteries. Okay, that's... well, that doesn't suck, to be honest. Specific parties with specific builds with full gear and mastery. Oh, I'm assuming that's just a meta, to be honest. Like, every piece of content has a meta. Like, Delabun Region A had a meta. But you could do it with random people as well, which is how I did it. And we did it just fine. But, again, you needed to have... you needed to be specifically geared and leveled and stuff like that. For the Savage mode, rather, not the normal mode. There's no Savage mode for this. Yeah. But if it's only been cleared once, yeah, that tells me that there's going to be, that tells me it's going to be a while. Until I can get in there. You need like 2 thieves, 2 thieves, 2 rangers, and a few other things like tankies with specific roles. Okay. Fair. Like, usually when content like this comes up, usually Discord communities are created specifically to tackle the content. And only chemists can raise. Oh, interesting. Maybe I should... I think, well, I was going to level chemist after my geomancer. And chemists rely on the bod items as well, so... Also, you can't raise while you're in there. Interesting. So you have to utilize the jobs. Okay. Interesting. Dang, that's going to be annoying to actually get this sorted out. It's making me wonder now, just... Then by all purposes, I'm not going to be able to do a thing. I'm wondering if the content scales with your level. in rays, eh? It'll probably need patching. That's what it sounds like. If it's been a week and nobody's done it yet, that's weird. Like, Delburn Region A, people were doing it quickly. Oh god, I ran with that. I'm really focusing on one or the other. Yeah, I don't recall Delburn Region A being that long without build. If that's indeed, if it's indeed accurate that only one team has built so far, that's nuts. Come on. Alright, I need to focus on this freaking shark. This is the one you can't cheese. You have to focus on sharks. I think I'm going to look into whether or not there's actually a Discord for people doing Delburn, or not Delburn, but a Discord doing the content in question. Because all the other content had it, and every other piece of content that is pretty niche in FF14 has its own dedicated community. So I'm assuming, I'll bet dollars to donuts there's a community out there dedicated to doing it. Maybe I'll have to check the subreddit. Usually where people will go to advertise something. It's probably grassroots considering it's group 1 right now. Yeah, I think I'll do that after. That sounds okay. Aether Group 2 is the group that cleared it. Is that team name? Aether Group 2? Well, Aether's a data center. So is that what you're talking about? Okay. It's a raid team, okay. Oh, I got notes on him again. Let me jump again. Right, let me wait there for a second. So, FF14. Maybe there's something on the subreddit. Tanking the way Heidel intended. Yeah, that's the way. Okay, let's see. So, Occult Crescent is just a Trojan horse for more hardcore raider content. What does that mean? So, after a year of non-raiders getting absolutely zilch in terms of battle content, they seriously skipped adding a CLL DAL equivalent in favor of another of these dead-on-arrival raids that only exist for some disorder group to squat on and gatekeep. And you know there's one first on, has to be the one second, because that's how these things are always... What? That sounds like pure brain rot. CLL, yeah, that's... Yeah. Castrum Lactus Tor, that's the name of it, okay. Are pretty much a template for what we would describe as mid-core raid content. Yeah, fair enough. I haven't seen OC's raid yet, but I'm looking forward to something of similar caliber. Now, if the community goes septic and starts gatekeeping, yeah, that's on them. Yeah, I assume they're referring to the fact that if you hold the most ciphers, you can get a pre-made. I assume that's what they're talking about in terms of gatekeeping, but I can't even get people to do it. Never mind gatekeep it. Unless there's actually gatekeeping happening, and I'm just not aware of it. Like, is it entirely possible that I've been queuing for this, and there's actually a community out there queuing for it as well, but dumping in loads of ciphers? I mean, tinfoil hat, of course, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past. some people to do that, especially if they wanted to guarantee it pre-made. Like, because it's depending on the number of ciphers. It's not like you can just queue in as an 8-man in order to do the content. And that makes me think, like, maybe the team that actually cleared it that you just said there, maybe they all queued up together from the same instance. Maybe that's the reason. With enough ciphers. Well, either way, I'm getting lost here. Fork Tower is like the coleslaw that comes with your order. What the fuck are these metaphors? Yeah, this is just people annoying. They had Twitch chats flood a certain data center to guarantee a fresh instance. Okay. Is it too late to get into the Occult Crescent? I don't like spending time on this subreddit, but I just need the answers. I just saw that answers there. Maybe I should type in Fork Tower. Fucking A. Do you have a life? Holy shit. I won't be queuing that long. Tower on the Occult Crescent. Okay. So what I'm hearing through shout chats while on the Occult Crescent is that people aren't going to be attempting it without a dedicated group. So people are saying it's going to require a BA Discord. And is this the United Consensus? Okay. Almost all of the previous field op Discords are preparing for Fork Tower. So check the usual Eureka Bozza channels. Oh, that's right. What are their names? I used to be a member of one. I was a member of the Delbon Region A1. I just don't remember its name. I'm assuming they're... I don't like clicking links like that. Not trying to discourage anyone from trying, but after getting through the first boss in a Discord group, I don't think progging with random people is practical, at least not right now. It looks like you die on the first mechanic and then that's it. A full wipe is not recoverable. At that point, everyone will have lost knowledge, but more importantly, about 30 minutes to an hour of time prepping and organising parties. The other large problem with this is you won't get the same people next time as you go with a minimum of 30 minutes after the wipe. You will at least have a dozen or so new people who will also just wipe. Okay, yeah, that's a good... Also, it's I was assuming that this content was going to be like Lactus Latour. That you can just queue in, do it, wash your hands of it, go away. And the harder content will come later, but they flipped the script on this one. They've introduced the hard content right off the bat. And the casuals got nothing. So this thing isn't geared at casual people. And Lactus Latour wasn't really geared at casual people either. It was more mid-core, as somebody said there. Like, yeah, it was kind of like a stepping stone into raiding. Because it required a brain on your shoulders in order to do it. So that's why nobody's queuing. That's why nobody's here. The casual crowd is pretty pissed off that they don't have that bit of content. I don't blame them, to be honest. I was expecting this to be a bit of casual fun in the tower so I could learn a bit of lore, but it turns out I'm going to have to go through a lot of prep in order to do it. So that begs the question, is there a... Is that one of the contents? Discord Lunar Forays? Oh, their server's dead. I'm assuming that's it, is it? I'm assuming that's it. Okay, so I think that's it. Okay, so let me have a look here. Oh, I have to verify. Enter your full character name here. Okay. Rodney's thinking about it. Thank you, Rodney. Verified. You should be able to manage some channels. Oh, see some channels rather. Okay, so Eureka, Baldessian Arsenal, Bostra, Dublin Region A. Okay, so there is a channel for Occult Crescent. There's a lot of spoiler tags in it for some reason. It looks like people were queuing for it today. Okay, so people are actively starting to do it. But people are theory crafting it mostly. Okay, so it's been 6 years since boss just... Keel, fuck off. Don't say it's been 6... It hasn't been 6 years. It has not been 6 years. You're a damn liar. It hasn't been 6 years. It's been like 5 years. Holy shit. I didn't know it was that long ago. It feels like 2 or 3 years ago, doesn't it? Jesus Christ. That's a long time ago. But it's that I'm bummed out now, to be honest, because I'm not going to be able to actually do anything tonight. I was hoping to just jump into it like it was Lactose Toro, but I can't. That sucks. Well, it's prime time now, so let me see if there's actually anything rocking around the, But yeah, judging by the Discord I just joined, it looks like there's a lot of... There's a few people pinging for the content, but it's mostly people trying it, testing the waters, dipping their toe in, but there's a lot of theory crafting about... Okay, so here's an entry from a few days ago. So, although obvious, we as RRL staff PLs will be experiencing this content at exactly the same time as you guys will. So how's looking for group handling it? Well, much is unknown. However, branching off from previous forays, we'll be offering pings as well as space to... Okay, in regards to the raid, I will not be posting sign-ups sheet with no access. This will simply be... Yeah, so I have access to. Okay, so I need to sign up for the sheet in order to get to... Okay, so this was a few days ago. Okay. This raid is also very puzzle-oriented, so brings some extra patience when participating in the raid. So people are doing it. People are actively doing it, including this community. So they're pinging about it. And they were pinging as early as today. Okay. Or actually, no, they weren't. There's been no pings for the raid yet. I could be wrong because I never farmed this method, but they're mostly talking about farms right now. They're not talking about the tower at all. They're talking about gold farms, gold farms, gold farms. These are their pings. All they're pinging is gold farms. None of them are pinging the tower. So even this group is not ready. Yeah, I'm not showing you this primarily because the Discord is not running incognito mode for some stupid reason. That sucks. That sucks. That really sucks. Oh, dang. Okay. And it looks like this group has been prepping for this sort of content for a while. I guess they assumed it would just be as breeze as we did, but turns out that's not the case. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Damn it. I wanted to check the party finder. Gold farm, artifact farm, gold farm, gold farm. Join here if you want to farm some gold. See, that's all everybody's doing. Gold farm, gold farm, gold farm. I mean, I'm gonna have to keep farming anyway, because I need to level. Heal, if what you say is correct, I'm gonna need to level a chemist, I think. Or I'm going to have to get as many leveled as possible, because I'm going to need to actually attain this bonus. And I'm also going to need to attain enough silver to get the extra gear required to go in. But it's now just dawning on me this is not going to be a quick thing. I was actually, to be honest, I was hoping to just jump into the tower, clear it, and make an actual research video about this entire area, but I can't do that now without the tower. So I'm going to have to put that on hold until I clear the tower. That sucks. Okay. That was going to be my next video idea. My next video comes out tomorrow. I put a rush on it and finished it. Turned out good, I think. Well, yeah. My next video was going to be this, but I don't think I can do this now without the tower. There's no point doing it without the tower if I don't understand what the tower is. And I'm not going to watch somebody else's stream if I can't experience it myself and go through all the lore elements. And those people are just raiders. They don't give a shit about lore. Shit. Right, so realistically, how much I'm going to need for a 12. I'm going to need 12,000 silver, which is doable, but someone did the math. There's no accessories. Yeah, if you can, Keo, thank you. I'm pretty annoyed. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't expecting hard raid content right off the bat. I was expecting it to follow the model of medium kind of content like Lactus Sator. Then you had the Dariamante, whatever that ship is, similar to Bosja, and then you got the hard content, which is the Savage mode, like similar to Delabron Regione, where you got the hard mode. Like you had the normal mode, which you could go through, and then the Savage mode, which was freaking tricky dick. And I had to do it with a pre-made, which was the dedicated Discord. I'm thinking there has to be other Discords though. Do you know that? There has to be other Discords doing this content. A single wipe fails the instance. There's a limited number of revives. Okay, so it is like Savage mode. So it's Savage mode right off the bat. Did they even mention this? This feels like a limited job grind instead of a new zone. You're not wrong. But introducing a Savage mode content right off the bat and not even calling it Savage, does that mean there's a Savage mode coming? They never mentioned this. I don't remember them mentioning this in the live letter. I know they mentioned some things about this content, but they didn't elaborate further. Honestly, I could see why a lot of people are pissed and not queuing for it now. I'm kind of pissed off. I'll be honest. This kind of feels like... The best way to put this is this kind of feels like 2.4. That a piece of lore content, which if it's not canon lore or not, I don't care. A piece of lore content is locked behind a hard piece of content. There's no normal mode for me to experience the lore elements of it. I have to just jump into the Savage. I'm pissed off. Whose idea was this? Why abandon the standard model? The model has been standardized since Heaven's Ward. You get a normal content and you get a harder version. That's how it's always been. And now they just give us the harder version and they didn't give us a soft piece. Like, people could do Delabron Regione for the story of Bosja and you get all the story elements, and then there was a savage version for getting the mount and the other goodies, and it was a brilliant challenge. But they didn't do it this time. That's why I made this stream in the first place. I thought it was just going to be a casual piece of content, and then there'd be a savage version coming later or something. That's put me in a sour mood. That has put me in a right sour mood. Maybe there is... Yeah, maybe there's like... Hang on. Tower... Discord... Crescent EU. Occult Crescent feels safe in mid. Yeah. Yeah, they haven't been in it yet, obviously. I do enjoy Savage content, but 4 Tower seems extremely difficult to coordinate, and I no longer have enough free time for something like this. Yeah, see, that's the thing. This is why they adopted the model in the first place. You have this, which is the casual bit of content that you can solo. You jump in here solo, join little groups and do it. And then you had a harder piece of content that you jump into. They just skipped that and jumped to the raid. It's like they just forgot that there's supposed to be a level in between. There's like a low level, a medium level, and a high level. They just left the medium level out for some reason. They just went from low to high. No wonder people are pissed off and jarred. Like, I'm jarred. And I can't even get people to queue because now the content is tainted. People are like, yeah, we can't get proper content. So it's going to... For most people like myself, we're going to have to wait until somebody starts doing proper pre-mades, which I assume they're working on right now, but for the one Discord I've joined so far, I guess people are preparing themselves, leveling jobs, learning a lot with phantom jobs coming. I think that's why that person... I saw a person there a while ago, and they said, I think it's going to be weeks before people start doing the tower. And I was like, nah, it's going to be next week. Like, people are just getting to level 20. I thought level 20 was the only requirement, really. Fuck me. Like... Square, what... Essie, what were you thinking? What were you thinking with this? You just pissed off the majority of your player base. And make no mistake, most of the player base are solo casual players. Like, it's a very niche market for the people who do high-end raid content. And they try to cater to them to the best they can, but they've essentially stiffed everybody by doing it this way. Like, this is why they adopted the model of having a raid have a casual kind of level and then having a like normal level and savage level. That's why they introduced the model in the first place. No, I'm not doing the shark again. I'm pissed off. No, I'll do the shark. Fuck, I'll do the shark. No, I'm in the shark. No. Right, I'll do the shark. I'll do the shark. That's just put me in a foul, dude. It always seems like the more dangerous way. Oh, they can't go the other way, can they? Yeah, that makes sense. Not sharky. Oh, I tapped out. Honestly, it doesn't sound too complicated. I don't think it's going to be very complicated. But the fact that a pre-made is the only one that did it so far means... Well, I'm not really sure what that means. No, essentially means... It means that there needs to be a bit of coordination. So similar to Delibun Regione, which required 3 groups running independently in different parts of the instance. And it was fun. I enjoyed that part. And then the bosses required a bit of coordination because it seems like the tower has adopted the Delibun Regione model of if everybody wipes, you're done. And the chemists need to be the ones to revive people using reagents, which cost a lot of money. 300,000 gil, I think they are each. Or else you have to farm gold, I think. So, yeah, they've adopted that sort of model, which is fine. I'd be perfectly fine with that if they gave us the casual content for people to do the story. Like, if Bozja's story content was locked behind Delibun Regione Savage, I'd be pissed off. Oh, the gear has pluses as well. To get 1 piece of gear to +1, it's 38,000 silver coins, 24,000 gold coins. Are you fucking kidding me? I've been doing this content every day. And I don't think I've ever reached 28,000 coins. Like, granted I've been spending them, but I don't think I've reached 38,000 silver coins in my total earnings this week. That's fucking nuts. The other content didn't require this much farm. I don't recall Bozja requiring that much farm. 22k silver coins. Yeah, that's a bit better, but still, that's still a lot of coins. And Keel, tell me, what's the maximum, or what's the best method for farming silver? I know the best method for farming gold is having a group and farming the chain mobs. I'm assuming that's the same for silver, right? Well, CEs are the best method for silver. It's still slow, to be honest. The silver intake from CEs is still slow for the content you're doing. And somebody was mentioning this earlier as well. The fact that CEs don't offer gold is stupid. It's so stupid. The fact that you have to do dedicated little groups to farm chain mobs for gold is stupid. They should have done, like, for every 100 silver that you earned from a CE, 5 of them should be gold. They should have done that at least. Like, locking it just behind the single mobs is a bit silly. I think there's gonna be some changes. Like, they're not gonna just suddenly introduce a normal mode of Fourth Tower. There was a quest in Bozja that appeared after a few weeks that gave you enough coins for 1 piece of gear. I don't remember that, to be perfectly honest. But I remember Bozja not being that hard in terms of your requirements. I mean, you had to have certain things, which were those particular items that gave you the, like, the abilities or something like that. I can't remember. But they were fairly simple enough, straightforward in order to get them. It didn't require too much grinding. It looks like they've taken the grind to 11 with this one. So, realistically, I'm gonna have to get... Yeah, you weren't penalized for it. I don't even know if we're penalized for this one because I don't understand the fourth content. I think it's still too early for me to understand it. Oh, the weather's up again. Right, I'm gonna queue for it. I'm pissed off. I want to queue for it. Maybe there's a pre-made out there and I can just ruin their day or something. I don't know. It's prime time after all. Maybe somebody's trying to do it. Square Enix, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? I mean, they've made silly decisions into... Oh, crap, it's gone! Fuck. Alright, I'm jumping out and jumping back in. Shit. I missed it. It reminds me how they handled Orthos. Yeah, Orthos was, like, quickly forgotten, wasn't it? Like, Orthos is an amazing idea. I love the lore behind it. The fact that, like, even Eureka was playing a role in, like, the actual, like, the primal Eureka was playing a role in Eureka Orthos as well. I thought that was amazing. The fact that the Excalibur sword there was one of its creations. Like, that thing just keeps on giving. But yeah, cool idea. Damn it. I missed it again. Okay. Let me see what the party finder's doing. I'm assuming this is going to be gold farm, gold farm, gold farm, gold farm, gold farm. Gold farm, yeah, so everybody's doing cannoneer. Use home macro for fuck's sake. I'm assuming this is because they're pulling like 10 creatures at the same time. Everybody's after a cannoneer. I assume because they do the most damage. I don't know. Alright, there it is. Cannoneer is instant. Oh, that's right. They have instant execute. Sorry, yeah. I remember that. It was really good as well, the instant execute. I saw one of the farms use it. I've only farmed once, to be honest, but we were farming single mobs. That was like the 27 mobs even as well. I think because we weren't a full group, and I think, yeah, only a couple of us had cannoneer, or I don't even think any of us had cannoneer. I'm dumping all 4. Take them all. Right. Let me continue my search here. Yeah, Sanguinite is the Sanguinite's the currency you get from Fork Tower. I'm not reading that. No, I'm not having my thinking obscured. I live in a bubble. I'll do my own research. And the grind teams in Occult Crescent. There's no other mention of these discords. I mean, I'll retain this one that I joined, just to see if it goes anywhere. But it doesn't look like it's doing anything. Maybe the announcements. Oh yeah, the role selection, yeah, okay. Light Occult Crescent pings, yeah. Thank you. Select Occult Crescent, use Occult Newbie. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, oh, okay, so there's extra channels, okay. That'll give me access. Okay, so there's so much more info on the Occult Crescent now. Okay, so OC discoveries, OC schedule and sign up. Okay, so the schedules for the content, it was just another channels that were locked away. So there's a run on Wednesday, and another one on Friday. Okay. Make sure you prepare your jobs and ciphers required following the guides for Fork Tower Information Whip. Okay, so these guys are given the information. How do I manually enter incognito mode? Because I don't know why the incognito mode is not enabled that I'm streaming. Fuck. How do you do this? Oh, it disappeared again. Yeah, fuck. Freaking content. It looks like this Discord is actually actively going to participate on Wednesday. So I need to sign up for that. So the requirements to enter: have the story of OC completed to the point where you can see the cutscene and you have it unlocked. Okay. Be knowledge level 20. Okay. Have certain phantom jobs max for the jobs you would like to play. This will be shown further into the message. Acquire Sanguine Cipher. This will greatly increase the chance to enter. Before entering, make sure you have some Sanguine Cipher ready to use, as it will make your challenge of entering the greater the more you use them, but I do recommend using only one. Okay, so yeah, use the ciphers. This list is still work in progress and can suddenly change due to current progress. How do I enable bloody incognito mode? It's driving me nuts now, this fucking thing. Oh, seriously, come on. Alright, so Knight for main tank and 30 minutes reduction buff to your party. Monk, Samurai, Cannoneer for off tank to deal DPS. Healers will use Chemist. It's the only way to res during 4th tower and can cause a very early prog. I recommend both healers having Chemist. I'm assuming that's for one of the groups. Samurai, very good DPS, but you need to be paying 10k each time to use your big DPS button. Whatever that means. Ranger, okay. Bard, Time Mage, Geomancer for casters, okay, and Cannoneer for DPS. So, yeah, apparently I'll need to... Okay. Alright, so there's a lot of information that they're actually doing. So, I think I just need to sign up. So, I'll do that later. Okay, so, yeah, I couldn't show you any of that, sorry. For some reason, my Discord is not running in incognito mode. And for some reason, I can't enable it. And Discord, enable in incognito. It doesn't have a button to go incognito. Are you freaking kidding me? Okay. I'm just pissed off about everything now, aren't I? This has put me in a bad mood, to be honest. I mean, I guess I've got a tunnel to the light, so yeah. So I'll just follow that. So I'll be able to sign up. So I'll sign up to the calendar later. So I'll be able to get that done. But there's not really much I can do now. So this entire stream was supposed to be doing the tower and then just going over the lore aspects of it, but now I can't. I think I'll just do a few more things and then I'll just call it there. That sucks. That really, really does suck. Well, I suppose I'll talk about some lore stuff while I'm here. Do you know that? May as well. The Architect, I've been thinking about this guy for a couple of days now. So we have to think about it logically. You have 12 different city-states during the 5th Astral Era on Eorzea. This Architect, whoever he is, seems to have taken bits and pieces of every city-state and brought them here almost like a museum. So he didn't build them all, he seems to have just brought them here for some reason. I don't think he just manually constructed all these things, unless he used servants to construct them, similar to how they were originally constructed. But the point is, he brought 5 different elements from 5 different city-states to this part of the island, and I'm assuming the other part of the island is covered in ruins from the other island nations that we have yet to see. Now, there's a few things I've been thinking about in regards to lore about this. So the first one, of course, is the Architect. So the Architect is let's go over the description of him so far. So, this individual is the unseen hand presiding over the Occult Crescent and master of countless familiars, including the fairy Iris. So what he means by that is, all the Void Sent who are here, by the looks of it, use Magi summoning techniques of the Void Mages of Magi, or Magi Void Mages rather, the Void Mages of Mach, in order to create familiar contracts with the Void Sent that are now roaming around the area. And there's very powerful Void Sent wandering all over this place. So, yeah, it's an understatement that one person is able to do this. This person seems to be something very, very unique. I don't think this is something we've ever encountered properly before. And there's a number of other elements as well that I'll go into now in a second. So, seemingly their ultimate goal is to protect and preserve the fish after their cultures, although in a manner which prevents the period's blighted legacy and the knowledge that brought about the war of the Magi from transmitting to future generations. So what they mean by that is, knowledge from the 5th Astral Era was used to cause a great many calamities and suffering in the aftermath of these city-states falling after the calamity of water. Prime example, the war between Ul'dah and its sister state Sildee. The powder that was used to turn the denizens of Sildee into undead was derived from, or it was actually a recipe derived from Mach. So that's an example of knowledge from that era that is very dangerous. Like, we have access ourselves to some of the knowledge from that era. The jobs that we utilize, such as the Black Mage, White Mage, and the Scholar, are knowledge from that era. But there's also other magical schools that derive from that era. Void Mages are the prime example, which specialize in summoning Void Sent. It's probably not something they want to get into the wrong hands, for example. Now, let's continue on. The mystery of this contradictory aim is compounded further by the ethereal voice that has guided at least one soul to the Isle. Yeah, so that's the voice that talked to us, and we're assuming it was the architect. And the architect kind of talks like a person who was from Limion. He's like, "Ye be warned," or something like that. It's like Pirates of the Caribbean kind of accents. But the point is, this guy is a complete mystery. But whoever he is, or whoever they are, there's somebody with access to a lot of power and a lot of knowledge. Now, considering they have access to knowledge of all the different city-states, who would be capable of that? Don't forget, the War of the Magi was going on. These people were constantly trying to one-up each other in order to be the last city-state standing until the calamity wiped them out. But how does this person have the ability to gain not only access to their building, their architecture, their job arts, and other stuff like that from all of the city-states, including the ones that fell? This person had to have been somebody of extreme means and power. And the only thing we can really consider is the Nassian, because they're the ones that would have that sort of ability. Katemram is from the modern era. He's not that old. Katemram is from the 6th era, because the 7th astral era is only the 7th astral era is only the 7th astral era is only a few years old. So the 7th astral era is only, according to, if we look at our own clock, it's about a decade old. The Umbral Calamity, the 7th Umbral Calamity, when it dawned with the Battle of Cartano, or just before it. So he's from the 6th astral era. Yeah. But the 6th astral era was only like 20 years ago. So, yeah, the 6th era wasn't that long ago, but the 6th astral era actually lasted a long time. So, when we see the 6th astral era in 1.0, it's at the literal very end of it. So, that era is 99% done of its timeline. And that era was pretty long. Like, the realm was at peace for a long time before that era ended. So, now, what was I saying? Yes, so the person in general is somebody, and thinking it was Katemram is actually a good idea to think that, because whoever it is seems to talk like somebody from Limsa. If you look at somebody who talks from Limsa, they seem to talk like this person, which is interesting. So it's entirely possible that the voice may actually be. Don't forget, people from Limsa Liminsa have come to this island and gotten lost. So it's entirely possible that the voice itself is actually one of the previous people who actually got stranded here. So maybe they're lost, maybe they got transformed, maybe there's something else entirely. They might be locked up in the tower for all we know, guiding us to the island. Maybe in that regard it's not the architect. Now, as for what the architect is, there's really only two possibilities, really, isn't there? If we think about who has the power and the means to pull off a stunt like this, given everything we know about FF14 lore, there's really only two possibilities. Possibility number one is an Ascian. And I don't think a Sundered Ascian would have had the ability to pull this off. I think it would have had to have been an Unsundered. Now, the Unsundered have only been gone for a few years now, so it's entirely possible that this was the creation of an Unsundered Ascian. It's entirely possible that, I don't think it was Emmett Selk, I think he had his own things to worry about. It might have been Elidibus, I don't think he would have cared. It might have been La Habre, I think he was a bit too crazy at that point to even give a shit. But it sounds like the creation of an Ascian. The other possibility is that it's an ancient, like an Amarotian, like suggesting that an Amarotian actually survived and actually was able to create stuff like this. Although if you think about it, Hydaelyn would actually be a good someone to think about in terms of who actually created this as well. But I don't think she would have actually tried to preserve this place the way it is, and making pacts with Voidsent as well is not something Hydaelyn would have done. So it's entirely possible it could be a survivor. Somebody who survived the Sundering alongside the big three Unsundered Ascians. Or it could have been an Unsundered themselves. Or it could also, like, it's plausible it could have been one of the Unsundered. But the Unsundered are a lot less powerful than the Sundered, rather, are a lot less powerful than the Unsundered. Now, Van Daniel was able to pull off a lot of creation magic feats. So, they certainly do have the power for creating stuff like this, but in terms of creating all of this, jury's still out. But I suppose we could add them to the possibility. Now, the other thing I've been focused on is how these job arts relate to the individual city-states, and also how they relate to the jobs that we currently wield. Now, in Endwalker, we got introduced to the Berserker job, because when we went through what was the instance name? I can't remember the Hero's Gauntlet, sorry. So when we went through the Hero's Gauntlet, and we encountered Warriors of Light, or apparent Warriors of Light, just heroes summoned from other worlds. They're not necessarily Warriors of Light. Well, you could call them Warriors of Light in that they're made of light, because they look like they're made of light, but I digress. In the Hero's Gauntlet, we got introduced to a number of different warriors with different jobs. So we got introduced to the Thief, which is the first boss. Second boss was the Spectral Necromancer, and the third boss was the Spectral Berserker. The Necromancer and the Berserker showing up are the first times we actually saw job arts like that actually appear in FF14. Although technically the Necromancer that inhabits the Palace of the Dead is the first time we saw a Necromancer. But we didn't really get to see a lot of him in action now, to be perfectly honest. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because a Berserker shows up in this content as well. So in the Occult Crescent, there's a Berserker who seemed to have been summoned by or controlled by the Architect, or created by him, as either way, and seems to be in a very rage-induced state. But the fact that it's there made me think, is it possible one of the city-states of Eorzea during the 5th Astral Era had the Berserker as one of their primary job arts? Maybe they had an entire cadet corps of berserkers that they used to fight in combat. And that made me think about something. What if berserker was actually the precursor job in lore of the warrior? So if you're looking through the warrior's lore, you see there's a lot of rage involved in their arts. So it makes it look like, if you can tie berserker to Eorzea, it makes it look like the warrior is actually a developed job from the berserker, taking away a lot of the rage-inducing traits in order to make a more balanced, a different job that will actually function in modern society, rather than just going ham on the battlefield. Now, the warriors we've seen in lore have had some of those traits with the glowing eyes and stuff like that, so they have held on to some of the traits, but it sounds like berserker was utilized in the Eorzea during this era, and the warrior actually grew out of it, and the warrior job was created by watering down the berserker arts and implementing a different weapon. So they decided to utilize the axe of the marauder. So it sounds like a mix of the marauder and the berserker in order to make the warrior. So that's had me thinking that the job actually grew out of that. Now, we're going to start learning more about these job arts as we go through. It seems like all the job arts that we encounter in the Occult Crescent are all directly tied to the city-states that are actually located in the 5th Astral Era, the 12 city-states. Now, we already know the job arts of particular ones, but I want to quickly point out some of the other job arts we got access to. So, Knight is one. Knight sounds like something that the Paladin Order of Ul'dah would have actually grown into. I can't remember exactly what their order is called. It's entirely possible that grew out of it. Then the Monk. Now, we already have Monk in the modern era, so it sounds like the Monk is older than we realized, and may have origins that may not exactly line up with what we currently know about the Monk. Then the Berserker, of course, which I just talked about. Then you have the Ranger, which sounds like a lost job that possibly the Archer may have grew out of, or it's possible that the Archer class is actually older than we realize, and maybe the Ranger is actually an offshoot of the Archer, similar to how the Bard is actually the offshoot of the Archer in FF14 gameplay. But maybe the Ranger is what it was supposed to actually progress into. The Chemist is next. The Chemist sounds like one of the city-states had a penchant for alchemy. Yeah, the jobs are all from FF5, you're correct. And they're represented by the main character, exactly. But, don't forget, entering into this job, we're not talking about Final Fantasy V. We're talking about this content being in FF14 means they're tying it to the lore of Final Fantasy XIV. And the fact that these city-states are all established in canon of FF14 lore means these jobs are now canon for FF14 lore. It doesn't mean Final Fantasy V's lore, but yeah, you are correct in that they are listed as jobs from the previous game. But we have to tie them to FF14 lore now. The Bard is another one. We don't exactly know what the origins of the Bard are, other than the fact that a random guy in the 12s what gave us the art. The Oracle is an interesting one. So the Oracle's supernatural senses and prophetic insights. These memories promise mastery over a wealth of supportive skills. Not really sure where we're going to put that at the moment. I think it's a city-state that's kind of out of our viewpoint at this point. Geomancer we kind of have an eye in because of the Astrologician's lore quests. So Geomancers actually do tie in. So it's entirely possible that the Astrologician grew out of the Geomancer. Now that we have access to a Geomancer. And Geomancer has now been confirmed as being an art that dates back to a long time ago. So it's entirely possible it grew out of that. And yeah, there's other job arts which I don't have access to myself, but they are in the game as well, like Time Mage and stuff like that. So I think yeah. So there's Thief, there's Geomancer, and there's Samurai. The Samurai one's interesting to me. That's the one, yeah. Yeah, the Samurai is the next one I want to talk about. So there's a couple of possibilities with the Samurai. The Samurai the samurai arts come from Hingashi. So the nation of Hingashi over here, or well, Hingashi is the continent, but the nation of, what the frick is their name? The nation that's here, I can't remember their name. The shogunate civilization that's here. The isolationist guys, I can't remember their name. It'll come to me in a second. But the point is, the samurai arts originated on these islands. They came to Doma by way of trade from these two islands. Where did Gosetsu learn geomancy from? He said he traveled to I don't think Gosetsu is a geomancer. He's a Taoist, isn't he? Or he's something else. I think he's a Taoist. It's like a spin on a white mage. I'll come back to that though in a minute. I'll talk about the samurai right now. So, yeah, Doma got access to the samurai because of trade between these two nations. Now, don't forget, the Allegan Empire actually extended over to this area. So, it's entirely possible that the Allegan Empire got access to samurai arts because they did gain access. Don't forget, they gained access to ninja arts, and they either trained ninja themselves or they actually took ninja from this region and brought them up back to Eorzea, because we did encounter sacrifice ninja within the World of Darkness, which means they were sacrificed by the Allegans in order to give Voidsent physical bodies. Now, what does that mean for samurai? It's entirely possible that the first possibility is the Allegans encountered the nations here and brought the arts from here back to Eorzea, and after the fall of the Allegan Empire, the arts of the samurai passed on to one of the city-states that grew out of the fall of the Allegan Empire. Now, that's possibility number one. Possibility number two is trade between the two regions. Entirely plausible. It could be also possible that the samurai actually, a wandering samurai might have come to this region. It's happened before. And yeah, the arts were just passed on to one of the city-states afterwards. So we're not exactly sure why these arts are here, but the fact of the matter is they're here. They wouldn't give us these arts for nothing. Like, again, they are tied to Final Fantasy V, I get that. But we're talking about lore, we're not talking about gameplay. So I need to unlock that pretty soon, so I'm going to need to farm that out. The Thief one, we already have Thief, and Thief is an old job in lore, essentially. Now, yeah, those are my two explanations about that. Or maybe Kugane Geomancy evolved into a new job. Yeah, Kugane had access to... They kind of had access to Geomancer, I think. Not 100% positive on what that was. But yeah, the nation of Hingashi. Hang on. What the hell is their name again? What was their name? Yeah, Bokyo is the capital city of Hingashi. Yeah, they're a shogunate. That's right, they're a shogunate. So Bokyo is the capital city here, but they are a shogunate. So it's a place we don't have access to yet because they're entirely isolationists. They don't interact with other... They don't interact with anybody, essentially. And yeah, that island is supposed to represent Japan on the world map, which we all quickly realized. And I'm assuming it's going to be a Japanese-themed expansion at some point where they're going to introduce that. Similar to how Kugane got introduced as well, and the Far East and Doma. The reason for the isolation is not really known. They really keep to themselves, although they did open their border to allow free trade between specific regions. the primary reason they think, or we think rather, is the Garlean Empire. The Garlean Empire's expansion expanded into the Far East. So rather than trying to push into this island, which the Garlean Empire probably thought about but decided not to, this island closed off its borders entirely and didn't allow trade with anybody. But they did open up Kugane behind some very high walls, mind you, in order to allow trade with the Garlean Empire and everybody else, which is why there's a Garlean embassy located in Kugane, which is technically a neutral state, but it's actually a part of the shogunate. So Kugane, even though it's neutral, a neutral place for everybody to trade and stuff like that, is actually part of this nation, which is still isolationist, which is why they do not allow anybody to travel inland. Only certain people in the FF14 story have been able to travel beyond the wall. So I'll show you here now in a second. So let's travel real quick to Kugane. It makes me wonder if Kugane might be one of the surviving city-states. Kugane is in the Far East though, so it's entirely possible that city-states extended beyond that. I mean, we're only assuming right now that city-states had to actually be in Eorzea. I mean, it's just an assumption right now. But take a look at this. Look how close they both are. It's entirely possible that this used to be a city-state. So this island here might have been a city-state. It's possible Sharlayan's island chain might have been a city-state. Up here in particular, the Erzland, which is the ancestral home of the Rogadin, might have been a city-state. Where do you get the Crescent Quest? You get the Crescent Quest in Tuliolal on the north-east side. But yeah, as I was saying about Kugane. So, Kugane is a neutral city-state. Or, I think your man will probably tell us actually, won't he? Or not. Maybe she will. Wait, what did she say? Shirogane. Interesting. That's interesting. Didn't really think about that. Yeah, so as I was saying, let me go to the Rakuzu district real quick. So this nation is entirely isolationist, as I just said a second ago. And we're assuming it's styled similar to how Kugane is now, because this looks entirely fully, well, it is really Japanese inspired, but the whole nation is Japanese inspired, really. But you can't get by these giant high walls, and the gates are entirely barred. You need to have a special permit to travel beyond these walls in order to get to the mainland. But nobody has those permits. Where's the bloody thing? That's not the main gate. Where's the other main gate? Or maybe that is the main gate. I thought there was a different main gate. Okay, either way. The point I'm trying to make is that on this entire island, Kugane is here, and there's a land bridge. Well, there's pretty much a bridge that separates the two islands, but you can't cross it, and only people who are authorized can travel into the primary islands of this island chain, and then go to Bukyo, which is the capital city. So we think Kugane is the capital. It's not. It's a smaller city, and Bukyo is apparently a gigantic city. It's like Tokyo. Now, as I was saying, there's only a couple of people who actually have access to travel beyond these walls and go into the nation proper. And people travel this way every day. Like, a lot of the people who live here openly trade with this. This is why Kugane is open in the first place. Kugane is open like this, so this nation can actually gain goods from outside without having to open up their borders and eliminate their isolationist policy, essentially. They'd prefer to keep them themselves. It's just the way they are. They kept them safe in the Garlean Empire. They might think about changing that now because the Empire is gone. but I think they're just going to keep watching. And I think they have their own internal struggles at the moment. There's very little information coming out of that nation, but apparently there's a shogunate power struggle going on in this nation, which might prompt us to actually end up going there. Now, as I said, there's only a few people who actually have access to go in here. Certain traders of renown actually have permits to travel into this mainland. We actually know one of them. Tataru actually has a permit to travel into this nation. She developed the contacts and the funds to be able to travel into this nation. So she's the only scion at the moment who can actually travel into this nation. Istinian also traveled into this nation as well, but he did it illegally, hopped over the wall. How can you stop a dragoon from hopping over the wall? You can't. So he traveled in there as well, and there's certain other individuals like Hancock and other people like that have permits to travel beyond the walls of Kugane, but for the most part, any visitors to this nation are kept here, and they don't travel beyond that. You guys are from Ishgard. Hang on a second. Did they say anything? What's their names again? They're definitely Ishgardian. That's interesting. I never noticed them before. It's interesting. But yeah, I've kind of gotten off track now. But yeah, I just quickly wanted to point that out. Well, you have a cute glamour. Oh yeah, it's cute. Now, is there anything else I wanted to go through? I don't think there was. I think I'm just going to end it there, because the main point of this stream was to do the Forked Tower, and I can't do the Forked Tower now apparently, because apparently the content is too hard. So to elaborate for people who have just joined, I wanted to go into the Forked Tower today, but apparently it's too hard and people aren't queuing for it. So apparently the Forked Tower is the equivalent of Delibun Region A Savage mode. So, like, you only have one death and you can't get revived unless a chemist revives you. So it's literally Savage mode, released off the bat. They didn't give us a normal mode, they didn't give us anything else like that. And nobody's queuing for it anymore. I tried to queue for it like 4 or 5 times on this stream. Oh, you have 3 deaths, sorry. Okay, I haven't even been in there. I don't really know much about it. But I tried to queue in, I tried to get in there many times, and no one was queuing for it. And by the looks of it, Discord communities are actually springing up and trying to tackle the content. And Keel said there a few minutes ago that apparently only one group has actually confirmed to done it. Like, actually done it. So everybody else is currently farming and doing stuff like that, but people, casual players are feeling rightly shafted right now, and frankly I don't blame them. To me, what this looks like to me personally as a lore enthusiast is lore content that's now locked behind a raid wall. We have not seen that since 2.0. The last time we saw that, and I'll show you right now the last time we saw that. The last time we saw lore content locked behind a raid wall was the Final Coil of Bahamut Turn 3. So if you're not aware, if you started playing after A Realm Reborn, for example, so the story of Final Fantasy XIV, as we saw, for example, you saw the trailer for A Realm Reborn with the Battle of Cartano, and then you see Louisoix become the Primal Phoenix and defeat Bahamut. The thing is, that trailer didn't actually come out until this raid content released. So we only had the other trailer which showed the battle ending, Louisoix disappearing in a blinding light, and then it fast forwards to 5 years later. We didn't get anything else regarding Louisoix's fate, and his fate, the moment you killed this fight, you got cutscenes with Louisoix, and he showed you the actual trailer. He showed you exactly what happened afterwards. And I can tell you right now, a lot of people were pissed, because this was lore story content locked behind a Savage wall. Like, it doesn't say Savage. Like, Savage mode didn't exist, technically, back then. The second coil of Bahamut Savage was their attempt to add Savage mode. Despite the fact that these were just as hard as Savage mode, really. But the fact is, not everybody was raiding. And not everybody raids today either. Most people are casuals. Or rather, it's wrong to say casuals. Most people just play on a casual basis. It doesn't mean they're bad at the game. They may not have time. They may not do anything else. The point is, Square Enix was supposed to have learned their lesson about content, especially story content, regardless of its side story or not. They were supposed to have learned their lesson about locking content behind a raid wall. And they just threw it out the window with this content. Like, after A Realm Reborn, when Heaven's Ward released, this is why ever since Heaven's Ward had normal mode and then it had Savage mode. And I remember the first time I did normal mode just going, wow, this is amazing, this is so easy. And I was like, this will make the people from A Realm Reborn so happy because they're able to do the story mode without having to do the Savage mode. And then the rest of us who are interested in doing harder versions of this content can do the harder versions of this content. And this has been the model that it's gone on ever since. Now, granted, this is not a raid tier. They have their own versions of difficulty when it comes to the story content. Now, keep in mind as well, when Eureka came out, the island one, not the Eureka Orthros, when that content came out, a lot of people were grinding through it, a lot of people were griping and stuff like that about the relics and stuff like that. Like, I get it. A lot of people still had gripes about Eureka, the Baldassian Arsenal, being... It wasn't too hard, to be honest. But it was hard enough that it put off a lot of people. But it locked a lot of story elements behind it. Again, not too much. But you couldn't finish Eureka, really, without completing the Baldassian Arsenal. And that annoyed a lot of people. And Square Enix rightfully did say, we did kind of make a mistake in that regard. We kind of locked it behind a hard wall. And by this point, they were already well into realizing that most of their players were playing on a casual, nonchalant basis. And a lot of people were playing solo as well. So which is why they've started gearing content to the people that are playing today. So they give us access to the story modes, and then they'll give us harder content for the people who want harder content. Which is a model that worked out really well. Which is why when Bosja and the other thing, what the hell is it? That's why when Bosja and Zadnor came out, they gave us a normal mode and they gave us a savage mode of both of their main pieces of content, which gave us access to more story, and it allowed people who are playing on a casual basis or people not even good at the game to be able to actually do it and gain access to everything else. And then they gave us a savage mode for people to be able to do the content. But they didn't do that this time. So I can remember being able to do all the story, and then you had harder, like Delbron Regione, for example. Having the hard mode of it was really hard and was really fun to do because of that. But you also had the casual mode, which allowed myself and everybody else to do it for lore content. But now they threw the model out the window. I was fully expecting, like I've said this 3 times now, but I'll say this again for people who've just shown up to the stream now. I was fully expecting on starting this stream up, I didn't know anything about the 4th tower, mind you, but I was expecting the 4th tower to be casual content. I was expecting to be able to jump into it, do the content, get the story mode, or whatever it is afterwards, or get some hints regarding more lore about this area, and then I'll make a video about it afterwards. I was not expecting it to be hard mode. I was not expecting it to be a savage content. I was expecting a bit of casual content and then a savage mode would follow. I was expecting 4th tower savage. I wasn't expecting just off the bat to be savage. It doesn't make sense to me. It's a slap in the face to a lot of people, and rightfully so. A lot of people are upset this week. Like, I'm only starting to see it now, but I've been noticing that people were griping during the week about Fork Tower, but I wasn't really paying attention to it. I was in my own bubble, and I was busy making my other video as well, and just grinding through the content. Like, I noticed people in shout chat, they were all griping about the tower, and the fact that people weren't queuing for it. Like, I saw it literally on Wednesday. People were constantly spamming the chat, just going, or Thursday rather. People were spamming the chat, man, we need more people for tower, we need more people for tower. They weren't able to get people for tower, despite the fact that people had the requirements. And I thought the requirement was just being let knowledge 20 and then just joining up with a maxed out job. Turns out it wasn't. So now I see what people were griping about, and I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed. I don't know whose idea this was, but it was a bad idea. It's literally they literally decided to give the majority of players, they went back to the old model of giving the majority of players a small little playground to play in. In our case, the Occult Crescent island itself, for doing fates and CEs, and then they give the more hardcore players, or the players that would actually have the ability to do proper collaboration with each other, the content that's ahead of us, which is a complete slap in the face to the players. Like, Bosja was perfect in that regard, because Bosja gave you harder content. So you had the fates, you had the CEs, which everybody could do, but it also allowed those people to jump into Lactus Latour and the airship from Zadnor, I can't remember his name, the Diarrhea or something like that. But the point is, that was content that everybody could jump into, and then you'd have a harder versions of such content later, or different type of content afterwards. We didn't get that this time. Like, was this just a mistake? Did they really think about it? Maybe they just decided people just don't, maybe we just don't want to make two versions, and we'll just make one version. So rather than upsetting, that's what it looks like to me. Do you know that? That's what it really looks like to me. Is that they had a choice. They didn't want to make two versions of it. So they chose to upset the majority to please the minority. Which is something they learned years ago not to do. See, this is the thing. Square Enix, Creative Unit 3 learned years ago that just pleasing the minority over the majority is the wrong move, because the majority are the people who you need to please. And they made a choice with this, so they must have thought, like, we have to release the Fork Tower. Do we release it at a hardcore level or a soft level for everybody to do? Like, do we release it at a soft level for 90% of the player base to do, or do we release it at a harder level for 10% of the player base to do? They chose the 10%. That's the wrong move. And they know better. They learned this lesson. I said it 3 times already. They learned this lesson years ago. That picking the minority over the majority is something the player base had backlash on. And I'm gonna have to imagine that there's people pissed off about this. So hang on. Let me go to the feedback section real quick. So let me go to the feedback section. Let me see what people are saying in terms of feedback, because this is usually a good gauge. People think the forum's not used that often. The forum is actually used quite a bit. And it's usually used for stuff like this as well. So let's go to feedback real quick. No, not localization. It's probably in general, do you know? They're probably griping about this in general. Or current events, perhaps? No? No, that's not it. Let me go to the They've changed the layout of this. There it is. Yeah, sorry. Okay. The fuck is this? The hell is this? Where's the casual threads? Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. Yeah, it was down there. Sorry. Okay. Why are all these red? Or they're not red, are they? How does everybody feel? Yeah, so here's the main thread now at the moment. So we'll gauge people's reactions from this. So this is the start of the contest. So this is, well, this is yesterday actually. I like it thus far. Although take breaks if I feel that they get tedious. With CS Fates are truly a joy, and I agree. As someone who loves Fates and CEs, I love jumping between them because they have a lot of lore to add. But I also enjoy Fates. So Fate trains are one of my favorite pieces of content. In Eureka, I love them. So seeing them again was really good. Fates and CEs are overall pretty good. No need to... Yeah, the scaling of Fates needs to be fixed. I think they need to tweak that a little bit. I'm on the fence with Atma grinding. It's tedious. There's a whole fiasco about making all the party a pre-made to enter the same instance. It's a nightmare for organized runs and seems to be difficult to do pickup. The content needs organization and planification. I've never heard of planification before. I'm not sure if you're having a normal version or a more difficult one was over, and a more difficult one was the right choice. I'm assuming they meant over a more difficult one. Most people are just not interested in doing more difficult content. There's an argument that should be easier with time when people get the zone gear upgrades, which is correct. It will be easier with time, but it'll still require a lot of coordination. Most players won't do it, and it's true. Most players won't do it. And especially since part 2 will be gated behind the 4th tower. That's another good point. So that's a prime example. Will part 2 require us to do 4th tower part 1? So that's going to make things even worse. Like, let me think about it. Was Delburn Region A... Was that gated content behind the first bit? I can't remember. I can't remember, actually. My main gripe is the 4th tower and the phantom job system. 4th tower being gate kept behind tedious requirements such as baffling choice compared to the accessibility of CLL Darida in Bosnia, which is correct. Like, this is such a basic design flaw that I'm just flabbergasted how everyone in their right mind thought this was good enough to implement, and they're right. Then they decide to simplify the one system that made Bosnia and Eureka stand out, and it's their overhaul of the lost actions and essences. It's like the 3-story house you bought just turned into a studio apartment. You can't mix and match your actions anymore, they're fixed, which I guess it is a simplification. Yeah, I like the fact that it's simple, to be honest. I don't mind that. Instead of expanding on where fantastic, much needed in-depth exploratory content elements, they decided to take 2 steps backwards again. It's like they switched out the original devs in Bosnia who knew what they were doing and replaced them with interns without giving them proper guidance. Critical engagements feel so underwhelming. I'll say the opposite. I think critical engagements are actually a bump up from the Fates. I actually like them. And it feels like such a chore to grind out because you don't have different tools to approach the same encounters now. It's like cooking the same meals every day. I'll give him that. He's not wrong. I mean, if they added a leveling element, like similar to Bosnia, like because Bosnia were able to level our jobs as well. If they added that element as well, I think it would have made it better. But yeah, this guy he's got the right way of saying it. It's like, I like the way he said this. It's like they changed out the development team who knew Bosnia was right. It's like, Bosnia was great. Bosnia ticked all the boxes of, like, we have casual content, check. We have mid-core content, check. We have a harder content with Delburn Region A normal, check. We have a savage content to keep the savage players happy and the people who love hardcore stuff, check. And it was hard. And they threw it out the window. Just said, you know what, let's not care about that. The casual players will be happy running in circles doing their fates. And we'll give the hardcore players the exclusive stuff like this, which most of the other players are not going to be able to access. I don't know what they were thinking. I fully expect, to be honest, I fully expect a letter from Yoshi P. Yoshi P usually comes out of the woodwork to say, we're sorry about this. We need to look at this. I'm sorry, that's not going to fly anymore. I mean, I appreciate apologies after the fact. I get it. And then you go to fix them. But this should have been addressed before it was released. Fuck, delay it. If it was not ready, delay it. If you couldn't get a normal mode and a savage mode of the Fork Tower release in time, delay it. Like, you should have worked on the normal mode first then. And then given us the savage mode after, which is a model that worked extraordinarily well for everything else. I mean, people wouldn't have minded. I mean, yeah, granted, the hardcore people probably would have been more upset, but we would have been happy because we would have had the normal mode. And if it had good rewards, maybe like Custom Lactus Ator had achievement awards and stuff like that, and had other types of rewards as well, we would have been happy with that. And then you give us a savage version after, which people were already be in the planning stage for, and we'd be happy. I wonder how much this was impacted because they wanted to do another Palace of the Dead style dungeon. It's possible. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but this was just a... It's like they were given the most expensive vase in the world and they dropped it. Let's keep reading. The tower is a big step back from the Boscha designs. You can't enter it with a 48 pre-made, it excludes all casual, etc. Why isn't there an enjoyable normal mode version and a 48 hard mode one that you can enter as a pre-made? The worst thing is you have to walk to every sea meeting on the map. Yeah, I guess that gets pretty repetitive after a while. But they're all hitting it on the head. Everybody's saying the same thing that you and I are saying. This content was a step back. They did it totally wrong. I fully expect Yoshi P to send an apology letter soon. But as I said, it's not good enough now. For this, it's not good enough. You knew full well that this is what the reaction would have been. This is not our first rodeo. You've done this before. You've given us hard content and the pushback from the community was solid. And then you gave us an easier piece of content. This is how we got the current model of today and you just threw it out the window. Apologies are not going to cut it. This should have been addressed in development. There's no excuses. And I assume his letter is going to say that. There is no excuses. I wanted his apology letter to say we fucked up. That's what I wanted to say. Because that's what it is. This is a fuck up. I like Occult Crescent. But the fact that you did this one singularly thing, this solitary pavilion, aptly named because it's fucking alone and nobody can do it right now. Did they assume we were going to be happy with grinding for weeks until we could do it? That's not how it works. Not anymore. If we had content to tide us over other than CEs are the hardest thing we can do next to the tower. But if we had the likes of Lactus Ator, we would have been happy. We wouldn't have had gripes. And everybody in this forum is saying the same thing. Oh, this upgrade stuff as well. Yeah, I'm going to have to look into that as well. Jeez, that's a lot of gold. Ugh, that's a lot of gold. The Phantom Jobs really disappointed me. The map is too easy to traverse and I found nothing to be threatening since most mobs... Yeah, most mobs in this are pretty blind. Like, I'll be honest, I've died a few times to mobs. But for the most part, they're not as threatening as the Eureka mobs. They're pretty blind and pretty deaf. You can walk in front of a lot of these mobs and they won't do anything. Where's the dragon? Do you remember the sleeping dragon that you had to walk by? I missed that. Like, having good stuff like that was always good. Oh, somebody's pinging content. Oh, look, a gold farm. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'll have to gold farm, to be honest, to get the gear. Because I don't give a shit. I'm doing this content, right? They're giving me hard content, fine, I'm gonna do it. For the lore's sake, I'm gonna do it. I was able to traverse the entire map and get to all the aetherites and observation points at level 3 without aggroing anything. Yeah, that was unheard of in the Eureka. Trying to traverse the higher regions in Eureka was extremely difficult if you weren't leveled. And the maps were just so large as well. Like, this map is pretty large, but it's not that large. And there's only going to be 2 of them. Eureka had like 5 maps. Yeah. My main gripe is how the game was actively punishing pre-made groups from entering the 4th tower, however. That's true. Like, think about it for a second. Somebody said this. Keel said this a minute ago. That the pre-made that went in and killed the tower, I think they had to queue on some other server in order to get all their pre-made in. Like, you can't just queue up with a 48 pre-made, which is what the other, like Bosnia, like Delbon Region, you queued up with all of these people in a full raid, and you went in. Now you just have to be lucky. Whose idea was that? On a normal mode, I get it. On normal content that most people can do, I get it. But if the content is as hard as Delbon Region A Savage, and it's all random queue, it's a recipe for fucking disaster. And now, after I learned that, I realized why nobody's queuing for this anymore. It's so stupid. And everybody, like, literally, you guys are reflecting the same thing. This forum is literally reflecting the same thing. Nobody queues. Yeah, exactly. Nobody queues for it. The 4th tower suffers from 72 people instances. I haven't been inside. Yeah, see, this is the thing as well. Most people who are in here at the moment, like, I'd say half of them are doing fates. Then probably 16 of them are going to be doing gold farms in this area or this area. There's nobody to queue for the frickin' thing. It's not like with Delbon Region A where you could be outside. So I could literally just be out here. So that's how it works in Bosnia. You'd be in the Gangos area, which is the equivalent of this area here. So you're in the Phantom Village, and you'd have a person here who would queue up your entire pre-made, and you jump in. But you have to go in here with a bunch of other people, and granted it's shared across the other servers. Cool, I guess. But it's still entirely reliant on the fact that you can't get your entire group in there. So maybe you have, right, say you have 48 people in the Discord, and you're all getting ready to queue up. And there's a bunch of randoms queuing up, like I tried to queue up myself, and I ended up entering this person's raid. And you miss out on a bunch of people, and maybe your shot callers, your raid leaders didn't get in. What are you going to do then? It was just so... They didn't think about it. It would work for normal mode. That's the thing. The system they have in place would work brilliantly for normal mode, but not for Savage. So if they release normal mode, nobody would have a gripe. And then you'd have a queue for Savage mode. But anyway, do you know what? I'm done. I think I'm done for the night, because I'm going to keep griping about this, and I'll keep getting annoyed about it. And I'm starving. I need to have something to eat. Okay, so I'm assuming the rest are like this as well. The 48 player content at the end looks very savage, and apparently it is. Would it have been better to do it like Delbron? Everybody's saying the same thing. Got the airship with the grind system, then dropped it. That's fair, to be honest. He got what he wanted and he dropped it. That's it. It's not so simple for me, unfortunately. I run a lore channel, so I need to do the lore. I want the lore. I love the lore. Right. So, give me a sec, Beric. Need to get a drink. sister's using my toolkit again. Alright. Do you know what I was just thinking about there just a second ago? I was thinking, do you know in the story, when you're doing the story and it says, we saw this mysterious tower in the distance and we don't really know what it is, and it came right at the end of the story, so the quest line, and it was like, Katamram's like, we're not really going to do anything with the tower, but I'm not going to stop you from exploring it. It's like the developers or the story writers just said, yeah, just, you can do that if you want, but it's not going to actually mean anything as far as the story. It's like they knew this was going to happen and they just wrote it like that. I'm kind of annoyed. I'm not kind of annoyed, I'm greatly annoyed. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it, I'm greatly annoyed. I was always under the assumption that the Bostia content was built on the feedback of Eureka. It's not an assumption, you are correct. Bostia was built streamlined to be a streamlined version of Eureka, because Eureka was kind of dialed up to 11, they dialed it down to 9 with Bostia. But apparently in SE's Infinite Wisdom they see is entirely different entities, with how they outright just ignored just about everything that made the reception to Bostia better than Eureka. And everybody loved Bostia, that's the thing. The feedback for Bostia was positive, extremely positive. People coped about how Dawnchild was going to be amazing, but it'll be packed with content. But if mediocrity is a trade-off of reasonable amount of content over an expansion's lifetime, then I think we need another Dalamud. Generally, I can't wait for Yoshi and the devs not to not understand the feedback they receive about us. Yeah, they have to have read this by now. This is why I think there's going to be an apology letter coming. Because they fumbled the ball. Absolutely. I imagine there's, like, I don't watch other people's FF14 content, but I imagine there's videos from FF14 content creators right now just saying Fork Tower was a big mistake. Okay, so a bit more complicated on unlocking it and waiting for the time to go to the instance. Not possible to set up 24-man groups joining the same instance to tackle the tower without lots of RNG, which is also a disaster. This could use some work. Having a smaller group per zone, 72 as opposed to 144, also hinders this attempt, which is also correct. Blood's difficulty is relatively hard, and that which I suspect most people thought it would be on release, which was my thought. It was something akin to Lactus Ator or Dal Rida, but what we got was DRSBA, which didn't feel appropriate on its release period since it felt like people had to max out their plantive jobs no matter what to tackle this content. It would have been better if this content was tuned down or released at a later date to let people tackle large-scale content instances while learning their jobs. Simply put, I felt like they rushed the process of mini-progression in these zones and focused too heavily on the results. Very good poster. Very good. For me, it's lovely. Now I've been prepping for tower farming and getting gear mastering just 4 masters so far. Yeah, so like it's a mixed camp at the moment. Like some people are just, they're not in a rush. They're going to gear up for the content. It's going to require a lot of grinding, unfortunately, but so were the other content, to be fair. But that was the Savage, not the normal modes. And I'm going to grind for it as well. That's a post from somebody who just did it all for not the tower. Which, to be fair, by the looks of it, as I said earlier, it looks like the storyline revolves around everything except the tower, which is unusual to me. The tower seems like it should be the crown jewel of the island. But the storyline ignores it. Which is weird. I find that really weird. Like, that never happened in Eureka. That never happened in Bostia. The raid parts were central to the storylines, but they had the easy mode and the hard mode, which allowed people to experience it. It's like they knew. It's like they knew that people were going to be upset. Like, if we locked the story behind... Like, if there was another quest after the quest that we just got, just saying, enter the Fork Tower Blood, and it was a Savage mode, people would have been pissed. And there would have been backlash immediately. Because most people would be going, I have this quest and I can't do this quest. But now there's no quest. People are not going to give out as much. Is it possible that there was actually a quest planned? And they just didn't add it. Because they saw, oh, this Savage mode is not going to react as well by the majority of the player base. Take that quest out. What were they thinking? Honestly, I just don't understand. I say it's by far the worst implementation of exploratory content we've had, which is ironic considering they put so much emphasis on wanting to build out the strength of Yuka and Bosja that it seemingly missed the mark on both, which is just, it boggles the mind. We get to the fourth tower, which is downright baffling on how poorly implemented this is. A portal system from Eureka was widely criticised through JP seemed to make it work. Shock of all shocks. SE only pay attention to one demographic again. Ironically, even they're complaining because 72 instance makes it challenging even for them. The cherry on top is going in with less than 24 people is an instant wipe. Just how is something like this getting past sort of testing? I don't even think they fucking tested it, to be honest. This is early Heaven's War type mistake, not 5 expansions later. It's decisions like this that genuinely make me feel like a B or even C team is working on FFXIV nowadays. On the whole, that's an interesting way of putting it. Look at that line there. I don't think they want players to clear that tower in 1 week. They want it to last. Not wrong, but they wouldn't have had that need if they gave it the correct treatment of a normal mode and a savage mode. They wouldn't have had that problem. They learned this lesson. This is the stupid part, Hazards. They learned this lesson years ago. Fuck's sake. Like, this person hit on the head 5 expansions later and they made the mistake they made 5 expansions ago. And this line hits. Like, it's decisions like this that genuinely make me think like a B or even C team is working on XIV nowadays. To be fair, we don't know who's working on XIV nowadays. Like, that's internal confidential information. We know the lore team has been changed out, but this has nothing to do with lore, really. This is to do with content. I'm beginning to wonder if the old guard has actually been shifted out to work on something else. Yeah, you've got a good point. Like, don't forget, there's another game going to be coming out one day. We don't know who's developing it, but I assume it's under development already. So, Final Fantasy 17. We don't know what 17 is going to be. I mean, the team working on 14 are a team that are experts in MMOs at this point. I mean, they've made, which is arguably the most successful MMO that's available today. It's just stuff like this that just boggles the mind. I mean, to be honest, I'm not blaming the people who made it. I'm blaming the people who looked at it and just said, that's good, release it. I'm blaming the higher ups on this one. I'm not blaming the people who made it. The people who made it are just making the content. They're not the ones deciding it. It's the higher ups that are doing that. See, whoever the higher ups are, I'm blaming them. Somebody obviously took one look at this and just goes, no, we'll release a Savage mode only, but we won't call it Savage. It'll be just as hard as Savage, but we won't call it Savage. Somebody made that fucking decision. And this is what they ended up with. Somebody made this stupid decision and nobody questioned it. Nobody called it out. Nobody said the players are going to be upset with this. You're adding a RNG function to a Savage mode. Like, imagine if Savage 8-man was a roulette and you couldn't do a proper remake for it. You had to just throw your lot in with everybody else. Imagine how pissed people would be at that. That would be a fucking disaster. And that's what's happening here. To the point now nobody's queuing for the content anymore because it's too hard. I don't know. I have nothing else to say now at this point. These comments say it all. This thread has gone 8 fucking pages. It's gone 8 pages and everybody's saying the same thing. It just seems like such a stupid decision. Yeah, like, exactly, Hazard. They need to add what Delburn region they got. Like, fuck it, I'll teleport to Gangos. If you haven't seen this before, I'll fucking show you right now. Like, it's just frustrating, like, how they made a stupid mistake like this. This patch has been months in the making, and nobody thought to think about, oh, they're not going to have a good reaction to this. Somebody fucking should have seen it. Fuck's sake. Like, here he is, right here. You can queue up for either go into Zadnor or the Southern Front, the Delburn Region A, in hard mode as well. When you're queued up with the right people. And you're outside, you're all queued up, you're all getting your lost finds all sorted out, all ready to go. Great system. People fucking love this system. I thought the system was great as well, to be honest. Why did they abandon it? They had a fucking framework. Instead, they made a brand new framework that was shit and built over it. It's like they got given the blueprints to a beautiful skyscraper and said, you know what, no, we want to make our own. Who fucking does that? Who does that? And this is content you can control. You can queue up, you're in your entire pre-made, you queue up, and you're in your content. Doing it with an RNG is a fucking terrible idea. That's why I literally joined this stream today, not realizing it wasn't Savage, because I knew from like day one, like from a couple of hours in, that yeah, you had to get these ciphers and you had to queue there in order to queue into the thing. That's why I thought it was Lactus the Tour. That's why I legitimately thought this was casual content, not fucking Savage. The fact that I rock up here tonight, ready to go, to jump in to try and explore some lore content, only to be met with a fucking Savage wall. Are you fucking shitting me? I'm just annoyed. I mean, I wanted to do this for everybody. I wanted to do this for you and me and everybody. I wanted to be able to do this and then make an entire, like, I had an idea for a format of video that I was going to make out of all the content that I recorded in the Occult Crescent and what was going to be recorded tonight in the Fourth Tower, because I expected to be able to clear it tonight. I thought the reason people weren't queuing for it was because everybody had already done it. I thought people were they're done with one lockout a week or something like that. Maybe there was a lockout and everybody had already done it before me because it's Monday. It's been out for 6 days now. And that's not the case. Nobody's queuing for it because nobody can do it. And even the people who organize pre-mates for it can't do it. And everybody's waiting for the guide to tell you the truth. Yeah, exactly. Like, everybody's waiting for that. But I think just as much, I think the one change that's going to come out of this. Well, here's what's going to happen, right? One, there's going to be a post on the load zone at some point this week with Yoshi P apologizing and promising a change. The second change is going to be some hot fixes within the Occult Crescent. The difficulty content of the tower is going to be reduced. We're not going to get another mode, I don't think so. But they'll probably remove the death content, so you can actually just revive at the entrance. That would make the thing whole fucking easier. And then they're going to add a queue like this. They're going to add one of these systems to allow pre-mates to queue into it. Not having that is a fucking stupid idea. Who thought that was a good idea? Honestly, answer me that. Who thought that was a fucking good idea? Whoever came up with that idea, I'm not joking right now. I'm not joking. Whoever came up with that idea for locking Savage Mode content behind RNG just to punish the fucking player base needs to be removed from their position. Whoever made that decision was obviously out to hurt the player base and needs to be removed. No ifs, whens, or buts about it. The people have fucking spoken. Remove that person from their position because they clearly did not have the player's interest in mind. They released it If they didn't know, they're fucking stupid. And if they did know, they're vindictive. That's my opinion. Some higher up obviously pushed that through. But worst of all, it got through scrutiny. Everybody would have looked at that content. Yoshi P and the other higher ups would have looked at that content and said, okay, release it like that. Fuck no. That was the stupidest decision. I'm sorry. It feels like I'm giving out at you guys. I'm just upset. I'm upset because this should have been a good night. This should have been a good night of me picking the Tower of Blood apart for lore. I thought we were going to get insights into another city-state tonight. I thought this was going to be a good night. And I got greeted with this. It's fucking annoying. Like, seriously, I don't care how many bridges I burn with Square Enix with what I'm saying right now. They need to remove whoever thought this content up. Whoever approved this needs to be removed from their position. Because this is doing nothing but hurting people. This was released to hurt the player base. No ifs, ands, or buts. This was made to punish the majority of the players. Yeah, it makes hardcore players happy, sure. They don't like the RNG factor. Yeah, sucks to be them. Everybody else, fucking shafted. I think I'm going to stop there because I'm going to just rant about this. I'm just frustrated at the fact that I couldn't do what I wanted to do because of stupidity. Of lessons that were learned years ago. As Keel said, this content was released... They released Budget in 2020. That was with feedback from all the other content that came before, specifically Eureka. And the model, fucking perfect. Bosja worked. People were expecting this to be Bosja 2.0. They were expecting Bosja with some little tweaks. Not throw the fucking thing under the bus and make a new thing. That's even worse. This is arguably worse than Eureka. It's worse than Eureka because people are not expecting anything else to come now. The content's easier than Eureka except for the Baldesion Arsenal. And the Baldesion Arsenal is pretty much what the Fork Tower is now. With this kind of RNG content. Although Baldesion Arsenal is easy now because nobody's queuing for it. Everybody's queuing for, well, everybody was queuing for the tower. Nobody's queuing for it anymore. So the content is dead on arrival. Because it was so easy to get to. Like, the Baldesion Arsenal took a long time to get to. You had to go through all the different parts of Eureka in order to get to the Baldesion Arsenal. It was a journey to get there. This thing was just thrown in our face as a giant fucking wall that you couldn't go up. It was literally like the Olympics with that small girl who was trying to go up the wall and the pegs were too far away. That's literally what this is. And you can't climb the fucking wall. Absolute disgrace. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's a disgrace what they just did. They literally just told everybody to fuck off. We're going to prioritize the 1% over the 99%. That's literally what they said. It's like a microcosm of what the fucking world is now, where the 1% mattered rather than the 99%. That's what this forked content is. Alright, I'm done. I'm not arguing about this anymore. I'm just going to gripe, and I'm going to gripe, and I'm going to gripe. I'm going to finish the stream now, and I'm just going to relax for a while. And then figure out what my next video is going to be, because apparently my video is not going to be about Occult Crescent anymore. Just going to park my ass in Solution 9, I think. But yeah, guys, I'm sorry. I wanted this to be a good night, and because of this, it's not going to be a good night. I'm going to do this, though. I am going to get geared up. I'm going to get queued for the other content, assuming I can. And the moment I'm able to do it, I'm going to stream it for everybody. Because I want to get through the tower. And the Kugani wall be... Oh, fuck. Nikhil, I'm not climbing that tower. I've tried to climb that tower and it didn't work. But the point is, I'm going to do the 4th tower. So, for the lore alone, the lore is like 95% why I'm doing this. I'm going to do the tower. And I'll do my video then after for that. I'll have to pick a different video for the next one. But I'm going to have to gear up tomorrow. It looks like the Discord I just joined is going in on Wednesday. I'm going to need to sign up for that. So I might stream on Wednesday to be able to go in. I don't know how that's going to look. It's probably going to be a disaster. Because it's a newbie friendly one. And if it's like, if you have like 3 lives, then yeah, it's probably not going to be good. But I assume the people running it are going to be able to actually give us some insight, and I'll have to do my research as well, because it's savage mode. I don't even have a normal mode to prepare before. But anyway, assuming everything else is going to go that way, I'll probably stream on Wednesday. But everybody go on and enjoy your nights, and hopefully I'll see you on Wednesday. My videos, the video I just made, I finished today, is going up tomorrow, so you can look forward to that as well. But other than that, I'll see you on Wednesday for when hopefully I'll be able to start streaming this content. So I'll have to do a lot of grinding tomorrow evening in order to get ready for that. Everybody have a good night. And I'll say it once more. Whoever did this at Square Enix, F you. Whoever decided this, F you. F you.